Hi, I'm Deborah, and this is Kids to Cuisine, where there are recipes, reviews, tips, tricks, hints, and hacks to help people of all ages learn their way around the kitchen. Today, I'm making a creamy vegetarian roasted tomato soup. That's right, lusciously creamy without any cream. Intrigued? Watch for the hack that makes it creamy. The process is actually quite easy. Using an oven, a rimmed baking sheet, and a 6-quart 6-liter stock pot, this luscious, delicious soup can be ready from pantry to table in less than an hour. Stay tuned for a bonus in a recipe at the end. I don't know about you, but tomato soup is just so satisfying. If, like me, you love fresh tomatoes, but hate when they start to desiccate, dry out, get shrivelly, if that's even a word, I have a great hint for what you can do with these tomatoes. Just freeze them in a zip bag. I keep adding tomatoes to my bag until there's enough to make a soup or a sauce. A large zip bag, which will hold a gallon or 4 liters, is about the right amount. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees Celsius. And put the pot on the stove with the stock or water and potatoes already in it and set it to simmer. Here's a flavor bonus. Throw a piece of Parmesan rind into the pot. It adds an extra hit of umami flavor. I keep Parmesan rinds in my freezer and add them to soups and sauces. I even have a recipe for Parmesan soup. Have you ever tried adding a Parmesan rind? Leave me a message in the comments below and tell me if you have or you're going to give it a go. I like to be prepared, and as you can see, my prep space is really close to my stove, so that having everything ready to hand is a real time saver. Watch for the bonus tips, tricks, hints, and hacks that makes this so easy. Here's a trick. Try using flexible cutting boards. They make sliding things into pots, pans, bowls, and onto baking sheets so much easier. For this recipe, you will need 20 ounces or 570 grams of tomatoes, fresh or frozen, 1 medium onion, quartered, with or without the peel, 2 cloves of garlic, skin on or off, 2 carrots and 2 stalks of celery, roughly chopped, 8 ounces or 230 grams of butternut squash, rough chopped or frozen, a half a lemon. Place the cut side down. 2 ounces, a quarter of a cup or 120 milliliters of olive oil, 2 teaspoons or 10 milliliters of salt. I usually use kosher. 1 teaspoon or 5 milliliters of thyme, marjoram, basil, and pepper. 1.5 pounds or about 680 grams of potatoes, chopped. 12 cups, that's 3 quarts or 3 liters of stock or water. And here's the recipe hack. The potatoes will be adding the creaminess, and the bonus, lower fat and tons of flavor. If you are lucky enough to have access to fresh herbs, you can use them rather than dried. Just throw them in whole, they survive better that way. I blend the olive oil and the seasonings right on the baking sheet and let them introduce themselves while I chunk up the vegetables. As you can see, I am a great fan of grape tomatoes. They always have wonderful flavor whatever time of the year. Here's a tip. If you use fresh tomatoes larger than the cherry tomato size, simply cut them in half and place the cut sides down on the baking sheet. This will help them to caramelize better and develop more flavor. Frozen tomatoes of any size don't need to be cut. The heat from the oven will pop the skins and allow the juice to ooze out and create a beautiful concentrated flavor. The same goes for the butternut squash. I'm using frozen. All the nutrition and none of the heavy hacking of the rind. Just place the cut sides down. In the case of frozen, it doesn't really matter. They're peeled for you. If you would like to learn more tips, tricks, hints, and hacks, tap like, subscribe, or ring the bell to receive notifications of the videos that I upload every Monday and Thursday. Then you'll never have to miss a new video. Once I have all the fresh vegetables chopped and the frozen vegetables ready to go, I scoop them over to the baking sheet and swirl them through the seasoned oil. I use a half sheet pan to give the vegetables enough room to brown without crowding and getting soggy. The vegetables should caramelize in about 45 minutes. Here's a tip. Don't use a silicone pad. It doesn't allow the vegetables to brown as easy. It actually reduces the amount of heat they receive, and it takes them longer to caramelize, and they won't caramelize as well. If you don't want to caramelize the vegetables directly on the baking sheet, simply line the sheet with foil. Check them with a fork. You want them soft, but still a little bit juicy. Most of the oil and juices will now be concentrated, as will the flavor. Keep watching the vegetables for caramelization. The browner they are, the more flavor they'll have. The potatoes should be done approximately the same time. I like to simmer them slowly, particularly when I have them in stock or with a Parmesan rind. They can absorb all of that wonderful flavor, and the broth will be richer for it. I'll be blending everything with my immersion blender. I have an affiliate link to the one that I use in the comments below. Take a look in case you're interested. Sliding the vegetables into the steaming pot with the hot liquid and the potatoes can be tricky, but here's a hack. Line your pan with foil and unwrap one edge and shape it into a funnel or a V shape. And then using a spatula, slide the vegetables into the pot with the potatoes. Also, you could wait and let the vegetables cool down before putting them into the pot with the potatoes. Proceed with the immersion blending and heat it back up to temperature. If it's a little thin, cook it a little longer in the pot. If it's a little thick, just add water or stock until you get the consistency that you like. This creamy vegetarian roasted tomato soup really doesn't need anything else, but I like to add a few of my homemade croutons or a couple of gratings of good old cheddar cheese. If you want to learn more about Kids to Cuisine, you can follow me on Facebook or on Twitter. Thank you for watching, and have a wondrous day.